Good morning, and thank you for tuning in to Divas Den on IntellectualRadio.com. I am your host, the boss lady, and I have my beautiful co-host,
Just
Vicky
clap for
Travis
us.
Woods, the diva. And
Good
here,
morning.
good morning. Happy New Year,
Yes,
everyone.
Happy New Year's.
This is our first show of the year, and we are glad to be here with you. We have a good show today, I think. Especially the fact that our boy Randy Real Knowledge Jr. will be
Randy.
back in the house with us as one of our co-hosts in the second part of our show. Randy has on Facebook. He has Who Got Next in Chicago, and we talk basketball. I love it. I love it. I don't know. Maybe I have to ask Randy, am I the only woman in that group amongst many, or it's just two of us? And I love posting and talking
Trash.
with the
'Cause that's what
boys.
you do. That's what you do best.
We also have in the second part of our show Craig Hodges, the retired professional basketball player, who has been a legend and is a legend with the Bulls and the NBA. He played 10 seasons. He still lead the league as one of the top 5 in the three-point shooting percentage. 3-time champion. Okay, so we have a champion. He was going to be in the studio with us. As you see, we have the t-shirts on that says Long Shot, and that is the name of his new book. So we will be talking to him about the book, as well as his career with the NBA, as well as the man, and as well as his current coaching position at Rich East High School.
I hope I have my signed copy here.
Well, we'll check with him on that, okay? If not, I'm sure he will ensure that you receive it. Well, as you know, on Intellectual Radio, we have about 50 hosts or so, and we got something for everybody. It's an iHeart radio station as well, and we love what we do. We love giving back and informing our community on what's going on in the world. And I want to touch on, before we talk about what Divas is doing in the world, I want to talk about the inauguration yesterday of our president, Trump. As many of you don't want to call him your president, but I thought it was interesting. Many did not watch. I did watch because I want to be informed. That's me personally. But I thought it was quite interesting that someone who is coming in as a president and has all these supporters, it seemed quite empty yesterday. When they were walking down in the parade, the stands, you saw more Secret Service and military people than you actually saw civilians and those who supported him. So what are your thoughts on that, the diva?
Really?
Yes, really. Let's touch on that.
I didn't watch it, so I'm gonna have to let you do this part by yourself. He's the president of the United States, but I'm in my own little world. I'm my own president. Me and God.
Okay.
Over here.
And I understand, and it seems like a lot of people feel the same way you feel in regards to that.
I will respect him for his title alone, because he is the president of where I live. But no weapons formed against me shall prosper. I will live, and I will continue to live as though I have lived before him and after him.
I agree. Now, in regards to all the protesters on yesterday, I am all for your right to protest. But I mean, they went a little crazy yesterday in Washington, D.C., as well as here at home in Chicago, breaking a window.
I was all out of tune. I didn't see none of that yesterday.
Oh, man. 217 people were arrested yesterday in Washington, D.C.
You know who I was watching yesterday?
Who were you watching? Oh, don't
Steve
tell us.
Harvey.
You were watching Steve
Yes.
Harvey? Oh, wow. Okay, we'll touch on that.
What do you think about Steve Harvey?
We'll touch on that too. So 217 protesters were arrested in Washington, D.C. I saw them breaking windows out of banks. They hit the Starbucks. In Chicago,
Did they get any coffee?
In Chicago, there were 16 people arrested. They broke the windows of the PNC Bank. They tried to get over there to the Trump Towers. The police wasn't having that. They shut that down. They shut it down. But I'm all for protests, but let's not tell. I mean, they burned stuff yesterday too. Come
really?
on, yes. Like I said, you have the right to protest, but please don't.
That only hurts the community when they tear up.
Exactly, just hurt the community. But on today, there's going to be a women march on Washington, D.C.
I did hear that. And here.
And here, down in Grant Park. And I think it's supposed to kick off around 10 o'clock, as they stated that they want the president to listen to our issues as women, minorities, the LGBT community, as well as immigrants and overall human rights.
The ones that he poked fun at.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I got it.
So that's why the march is here today. And hopefully, just hopefully, we're going to give him an opportunity to see what he can really do for the people. I don't think he's going to last to 4 years, but we will see. We'll see what happens. We will.
What are you speaking?
I'm not speaking anything in regards
Those
to harm.
are the words of the boss lady, Madeline Freeman.
Not in that sense.
What do you think going to happen to him in 4 years?
I'm just saying.
He's going to have a heart attack?
Unless he has a change of character. I'm just saying, I'm not saying that anyone's going to cause harm. You know what?
He's going to cause harm to himself, if anything.
Or he may just decide this is not going to work for him.
And you know what?
Right arena. Let's go.
He is the right person to say that in the middle of something's emergency. I can't do this.
So we will see. I tell you what, his speech was different. It was different. It was interesting. And, comparing him to our previous president, Obama, who is so elegant and speaks so well, it was just so different yesterday to hear him speak.
It was different to hear his wife speak. She sounds like a robot.
Well, I'm not going to touch on that. I'm going to leave that alone. But definitely it was different. It was different. And we will wait and we will see. You want to talk about Steve Harvey?
You know what? Let's leave Steve alone.
The people are upset with Steve.
Yeah, they are. I'm a little bit upset with Steve, but I can, from a business perspective, because see, everybody is flinging over to the business side now. Okay. This may be a good business move for him. He's worried about himself.
So, do you think if Steve would have, after sitting down with Donald, if he would have came out and shared exactly what was spoken right away,
it probably would have made a difference.
Would have made a difference.
I just want to know why, out of all the people, black people, that he could have picked to sit down and have a talk, a meaningful talk, all the leaders, why did you pick a comedian to sit down and have a talk with about the black people?
Steve is not only, and I'm not saying
he's not
only comedian,
but
he's a businessman.
He's a businessman now, but
do you think that there should be someone to represent us as a people?
Randy,
table?
Do Steve Harvey represent you?
Okay, I'm just asking a question. Okay, Randy is all the way over there.
That's okay. They'll see him when he get here. It was somebody else that he could have gotten to represent the black people.
Okay, so
Kanye West. He had to talk with Kanye West. They taking pictures together. Do Kanye West represent you?
No, he does not.
No, he does not.
But who? Tell me who do you think?
He pulled Steve Harvey. He could have pulled somebody else out.
Please, I want to know.
You know why? Because we don't have any. Maybe it could have been the common folk.
The common folk?
Yeah, he could have came and got me. I could have told him what is really going on with the black people.
So what would you tell? What would you have?
That will be between me and Donald.
See, you got to come out. If I said, did you see
I will come out.
If he had a conversation with me, I'm waiting on him to call me. So
what you gonna tell him?
And what we would talk about that I will share with the people right away.
Share.
As soon as I walked off the elevator, I was going live on Facebook, and I was gonna tell y'all exactly what we talked about. Real talk, because my thing is, if you are a leader or you're a part of the community and you really want to help the people and you are really about the people, what is there to hide? As I tell people all the time, if you lead folks, when you want people to work with you, walk with you, be as transparent and honest as you possibly can, because people will have your back. It's when you are not transparent and when you're not honest,
they were off your head.
They were off your head, because everybody was loving on Steve Harvey until he went and talked to Donald Trump. And I tell you, of all people, our people will eat you up. They will love you today and hate you tomorrow and spit you out.
But they would take you back, though. They would take you back. Look at OJ. Look at Michael Jackson. We gave them to the people because the people wanted them. And then when they got them, they didn't want them no more. And they tried to come back. But we only took Michael Jackson back. We didn't take OJ back. Why?
I don't know why we didn't take OJ back, but we'll ask the people why we didn't take OJ back. So, thank you for having this conversation with me. I love it all day to talk politics, but on real talk, as it says on our back of our shirt, real talk. You know, we need to talk about politics more. We need to talk about what's going on in the community more. Well, we need to have more solutions than anything, right?
Well, disagree, but we have to educate the people on politics.
Yes.
You can't talk about something you don't know.
Mm-hmm. That is so true.
So, Black people,
educate yourself,
read some books, get on the internet, but don't believe everything on the internet. But research your politicians. See, that's what we don't do.
Yes, exactly.
Research
and making sure
your politician.
That you're bringing the right people in. But in that case, that's a whole nother conversation and a whole nother story. So let's talk about what Divas is doing.
Oh, I thought we was gonna take a break. We're gonna take a break. All right, then we're gonna get back today. Not today.
Today.
Next week. I'm kind of slow this morning.
Okay, I see.
I ain't having no coffee. Next week, we will be celebrating our sponsors. So if you have ever donated anything, your time, your money, your energy, your thoughts, we will be celebrating you with our sponsor appreciation next Saturday, January 28th, 2017, from 5 p.m. to 3 p.m. at Refuge Live. That's located at 412 South Clark Avenue, right across the street from the federal penitentiary. You can't miss it. What's funny, it is. Anyway, we're going to have lots of food, music. You know, that penitentiary system is something else, too. Mm-hmm. People need to wake up and be aware of what's really going on with those brothers that are in there. This is a serious note, y'all. It's not rehabilitation. And I'm sure our guests will agree with that. Thank you. Anyway, getting back to the program, come out, eat some food, listen to some music, and find out what is really going on with Divas. We have a lot going on, and we do a lot for our community.
Yes, we do. That's a blessing.
That is a blessing. Today, our workshop for our girls is a special treat. We are going to the ETA Theater. Now, the ETA Theater is Black owned and is located at 7558 South Chicago Avenue. It has been recognized for being a leading performing arts center, Black owned, by the city of Chicago. They also have what they call the Magic Box. The Magic Box is open to all artists, new, old, with new work and collaboration. And everything that they're doing this month is free. It's free because they want you to come in and view their work and review it and talk about it. Let them know if something was good or if something was not good. Okay?
Perfect.
So go online, Google them, look them up, and see what's going on. And, make it your business to go out and support the Black people. And it's free. It's free. Now, our next radio show, next month, February. What's February known as?
The month of love.
Yes. You are a love child, aren't you?
Yes, I am. My favorite month.
Well, we know that February is known as the love month. So we're going to have a show that's centered around love. How to Love a Black Man, the reunion. We're going to have a panelist of men here that was part of How to Love a Black Man, sponsored by Divas Inc. And these men are going to tell us women how they want to be loved.
I tell you, it
was hilarious, but it was serious all at the same time. Hearing the men express themselves, I mean, because they really expressed themselves. And they told us some good stuff too. Honest. They was very honest and very open.
A total of 11 brothers.
Ranging, I mean, from the street boy to the pulpit. It was something to witness. So we're going to have them here live at IntellectualRadio.com.
Third Saturday.
It's going to be like February. A reunion. I wonder if it's going to be like Love the Hip Hop.
No.
The reunion.
No.
It's not.
No. But I do want the ladies to really listen to what the brothers have to say, because when we had the event that day, or that workshop that day, it was quite a few women there. And they were engaged.
Yes, they was.
What I really appreciate was the brothers was coming hard. I mean, they were telling the truth, whether we wanted to hear it or not. And we just have to listen. You know, we don't, sometimes we just don't understand each other as men and women, because majority of the time we don't listen to each other and take into consideration what is being said and utilize that to communicate and work together to strengthen the love for one another. So
see, when you're listening, it's two types of listening.
Yes, okay.
You have some people listen to respond, and then some people listen to listen. We got to learn how to listen, because everything doesn't have to have a response. You got to listen and take it in. I'm learning that.
Yeah, you're doing better. You're doing better with that.
A whole lot better. Girl, 2017 is going to be.
We're going to jump in 2017,
I'm already jumping.
You jumping? Okay, I'm jumping with you.
So, getting back to what we were talking about, our workshop that month is also going to line up with the Love Month. We're going to have a session with our girls on lines that boys, young men, and men tell girls, young women and women, to get what they want.
That's going to be a powerful workshop.
It sure is. It's about 60 lines that men say. 60.
It's that many.
It's a whole lot. I got a book. It's a book.
That should be very.
And somebody passed this on to me. Yes, because some of these lines have been told to me and then to you too. I ain't fall for the okie doke though.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
You look so good in red.
I do. I love this shirt.
And I love this shirt.
Long shot. The
what does it say?
Foundation, form, and follow through. On that note,
he gonna talk about that. I got some other things I want to say about Divas Inc. Events to look out for this year. Our sipping shop. I'm bringing that back since we had such a good time there. Sipping on your favorite beverage and shopping along with some conversation. That's a good place to be. Yeah. And that'll happen in May. Bringing something new to the table. Divas Mad Hatters Tea Party.
Are we going to wear big Church of God in Christ hats?
You go wear whatever hat you want to wear.
Okay. Got it. I got one.
I know you do. We're going to bring back our Pretty in Pink this year. And, of course, Christmas dinner with Deborah's Place. We had a ball.
Yes, we did.
People just poured out a lot of love. This year, we had other organizations that wanted to be a part of what we was doing. They collaborated with us. These women ate good. They got gifts. They had music. It was just a lot of love in that room and a lot of giving back. Mm. And on that note, you guys, go and visit our website, divas-inc.org. Visit our Facebook page, Developing Intellectual Visions and Self, and also Divas Den. And on that note, we're going to take a break.
We are going to take a break. Thank you for tuning in to Divas Den on IntellectualRadio.com. We'll be back with you with Craig Hodges and his new book, Long shot.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Divas Den on IntellectualRadio.com, where we have over 50 hosts, something for everyone. Happy New Year. This is the boss lady. This is our first show of the year, and we're glad to be back in the studio. And I have my co-host, the Diva.
Happy New Year, everyone.
And then we have with us Randy, Real Knowledge Jr.
What's that real knowledge about? What are you spreading? What are you spreading? Real knowledge?
Most definitely just spread knowledge and awareness of self, which is the most important thing we can have these days.
Yes, and he has a following on Who Got Next, talking about basketball in Chicago hoops. Love it. I love the post. I love sometimes the pettiness. There be some pettiness in there in that site, please. So if you want to join it, reach out to Randy, because I'm telling you, we talk basketball. And speaking of basketball, we have the retired NBA player, three-point shooter, Craig Hodges, in the house with us, in the den. Thank you so much for coming in to talk about your new book, Long Shot, The Struggles and Triumphs of an NBA Freedom Fighter.
Yes. Thank you for having me. Great for the invite.
So we want to talk about how this book came about.
Well, first of all, I want to thank God for giving us a chance to meet. For me, it was going online and seeing people who think they know me and writing things about me. So I wanted to make sure that I was able to write my own version of what my life had been up to this point, as far as a lot of people speculated things about my politics, and I wanted to be able to set the record straight and leave the legacy the way I wanted to for my sons.
Speaking of that, going on the internet and reading about what people are saying about you, I did that. Did you know you were dead?
It happens.
Remember, I pulled that out.
It happens.
And I showed it to you.
It's gonna happen.
You know, I was like, what?
It's gonna happen at some point.
I just saw him.
At some point in time, but
I just saw him, and it was like the next Monday was like,
wow,
Craig Hodges dead.
See, that's the other Craig.
What's going on?
That's that other brother. No, but it's
it is a lot of false information out there about you.
No question about it. And you know, that's the society we live in right now with the social media age. But you know, for me, I just feel like for us, it's an opportunity also that for us to be able to spread a message in mass the way you can on the internet. I think that's the balance point for me.
So being in the NBA for 10 seasons, what was that like for you coming from the south suburbs of Chicago, growing up in Chicago Heights, correct?
Right.
And you always say, yeah, I'm a project boy.
No question. And I think, you know, for me, it was a culmination of my uncles and my granddad who taught me sports at a young age. My uncles were excellent. One was excellent baseball and one was excellent basketball player. So they taught me the importance of how to play hard, work habits. My aunts and my mom and my sister taught me the importance of education. And there was a balance between the two, that there was no way I was going to get to play if my grades weren't any good. So from that standpoint, it was a great support base. And that's the bottom line for me, is knowing that the support base is the bottom line on you getting to where you need to get to.
Understand. In the 90s, I mean, our Chicago Bulls were great. 1990, 1991, 1992. What was it like to play on that Bulls team?
I tell people all the time, if you go to a concert and you watch some of the top rock bands or whatever, that was similar to what we experienced during that period of time, especially with perhaps the best player in the world, Michael. We never had to worry about going into a building where there weren't going to be fans, where it wasn't going to be packed, that you had to bring energy because there wasn't going to be any energy in the building. So it was perhaps the greatest era in basketball when I look back at, you know, I'm a historian, so when I look over the different ages of the sport, I think during that period of time, you had a confluence of different generations of players that came together at peak eras in that time. Bird, Magic, Dr. J, Kareem, Michael.
Some of the greats.
Some of the Hall of Fame, top Hall of Famers. So I feel extremely blessed to have played during that time, but to be able to be the first player from my hometown to win a championship in the city is pretty cool.
I'm sure. The 3-point shot contest.
Yes.
We have a caller. Okay. We have a 3-point contest.
Yes.
Being one of the top 5. I mean, it's been almost 25 years or close to. Still,
20-something.
Yeah. It is still to be in the top 5.
Right.
Tell me about that moment.
Well, you know, when I look at the one that's really hard for me to look at is the one when I made the 19 in a row, because I didn't plan on missing. So when I look at it and I see the 20th one come out, it's still kind of heartbreaking. But all in all, you know that records are meant to be broken. And when records can stand the length of time, you know that you've done something special. But at the same time, you know that it's just a matter of time that somebody come along and get it done. But right now, it's been standing for a pretty good period of time, and there's been some great shooters to come along.
Yes.
And then at the same time, they've done some adjustments to the contest so that the record could be beat as far as the total number. So when I look at and now when you can have a rack of money balls, and you can put that rack of money balls at your favorite location on the court, it's a little bit different contest. So I just feel honored and blessed to have had a chance to compete. And on those days, my game was up to par where it should have been.
So when are we going to get into this book? I'm anxious about this book.
Okay, we
You can look like that if you want to, but I want to read.
You don't know. We're talking about the book. There is some stuff in the book, and these things.
What the juicy stuff in the book? The juicy stuff.
Did you do your homework?
The real Craig. I didn't get a book.
All right.
Then that means
The real Craig. I want to know about.
Come back.
I know about the basketball Craig.
Yeah,
Where is the real Craig
We're gonna
at?
talk about the Craig.
With the real Craig, stand up.
We gonna talk. Man, is she wild? We gonna talk.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So, in regards to the time when, take us back during the time where you talk about the NBA and how you thought you were going to play after the 10 seasons because you still was able to shoot. You were in your prime.
Right. At that point in time, 91, we won our first championship. We went to the White House, gave President Bush a letter. The next season, I went from being probably 7th, 8th guy on the team to last man on the team. But we still won another championship. I won another 3-point title. But I didn't have an agent at the time. So going into my free agent season, after 10 years of service, I didn't have an agent to represent me. So I went to my players union and they didn't represent me. So basically I was left out in the cold. But all in all, it was a matter of knowing that I still had the talent to play the game, but not having necessarily a venue to play it. And the top venue being the NBA. So I went overseas and played. But for me, it was just an eye-opening experience to know that regardless to what your talent level could be, you could be blackballed or blacklisted, you know, and not considered. And so much now has come out from the standpoint of, from other avenues of people telling me that owners and teams weren't comfortable with me being in the locker room and teaching what I'm teaching or speaking the way I speak. But for me, it's cool because I'm the only player to lead the game the way I left the game, a champion.
And in regards to the union, you were a union rep for the players, right?
Yes. And that's the part that, you know, you pay your union dues. I paid probably $30,000 in union dues over a 10-year career. And then not to have your union represent you at a point in time when you need them. It's kind of cold, but in reality, it's the reality of where we are. And the reality that we don't really control what we think we can control. And that there's a reason that they're called owners. That is plantation politics, and a lot of times we don't want to get to the reality of it, but the reality of it is that someone owns you, and the players union is a union, but it's owned and controlled by those who pay you. So, you know, there's a give and take, even to the point where we see last time they had a union and league negotiation, Michael was one of the owners who was trying to claw back on some of the gains that we made as players. So it's kind of odd, you know. Politics makes for strange bedfellows. So from that standpoint, it's kind of clear to what's happening.
We're going to talk about the interview that TNT did on Martin Luther King Day.
Yes.
And it was Cornel West and Van Jones that was speaking on our people, the civil rights. Right. Martin Luther King, and also they talked about you know, and that was a great video that, you know, NBA, and they showed it on TNT. And one of the things that Cornel West said, and I want you to touch on that, and he said, and there is a connection between on-court excellence and trying to live a life of integrity, honesty, and decency.
No question. And that's the part when you look at where we are in our society. We say we want certain things. We want you to go to school. We want you to think. We want you to be a critical thinker. But at times when you do that, what's the ramifications of it? So we ask our brothers and sisters to stand up and do something in the community. But at the same time, when you do that, where's your layer of protection? Where's your blanket of protection? And as far as if you stand up for your people, are your people going to stand up for you? Will you have? I had a great meeting the other night with one of my ex-teammates, and he apologized, and that was so cool to me that a brother could apologize to me in front of his son based on the fact that he said, hey, man, we was family and we didn't have your back. And we know that if it would have been us, you'd have had our back. So just that was kind of eye-opening. And to know that a brother like Cornel West and Van Jones saw somewhat of the history of what I tried to get accomplished for our people, it's kind of cool, man. So for me, it continues to inspire me to continue to do what we need to do to get our people free. And we never tasted freedom, justice, or equality, so we don't know where we're going.
In regards to our modern day leaders, who is our leader? Or who do you think
Once
the people
again,
see as the leaders?
I feel, I tell people this. Trump is going to be the best thing to happen to black people. Better than Barack, because it's going to make us do for self. It's going to make us reflect on where we've been and where we need to go. For me, presidential politics is a joke, because for me, when people say, man, I'm worried about Trump. No, I'm worried about the young brothers that's on the corner slinging and banging. Right. That's my immediate worry and concern, is that we've been duped. And we've been duped to think that, first of all, that our votes count. We all saw that they didn't count when you talk about electoral college having a final decision. So we're at that point in our history. And I say our history, I'm saying our history as a people, that joke time is over. We got to get the real. And if you don't want to get the real, get out the way, because at this point in time, it's simple. It's clear. It's clear where we need to go. It's not and the bottom line is that we wanna dance around it as though we don't know what the solutions are. The solutions are clear. They're right in front of us. Work for self, do for self, work with self, harness our dollars in our community. Simply done, simply put. But we don't do it. We got the bread. It ain't like we ain't got the bread. We got the bread in every city in America, and especially the NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball. They set the network up for us. Now all we have to do is just, yo, brother, why you in New York? Why you in LA? Why you there? Kick the bread to your community and let's get this done. Simple. It's not rocket science.
Got it. Randy, your thoughts?
I mean, excuse me. I just want to say that I think about the leaders of today, what made the leaders of yesterday so effective, the Martin Luther Kings, the Malcolm X, the Medgar Evers, was that they were willing to die for the cause. The leaders, so-called leaders of today, not really willing to go all the way, willing to lay their life on the line if need be. They're only willing to go, I say, so far till they get a call or something to say, hey, you're doing too much. You need to be quiet for a minute. And then you don't hear from them for a while. I mean, case in point, I mean, with the Trump thing, it's all it is just a replay of what we saw in this state 2 years ago with Rauner. I mean, man, so many people supported them, came out of our color, of our descent. Some of these people were right here in this radio station, and I produced their shows, and they voted for him, they supported him. But now that he got in there, you don't even see them no more. Right. Because they got whatever they was going to get. And then they said, forget us. But in regards to, Mr. Hodges, I mean, it's just, looking over everything that he went through, and also, the period of, when you were at Chicago State. I used to be a college basketball coach for 10 years. So when you were at Chicago State, and I remember when you used to wear the African garb and stuff, when you were on the sidelines, and people used to ridicule you for that. And then I remember when that situation went south, and the things that people said about that. But I do want to ask you, had you handed that letter to Trump, what do you think would have been the ramifications of that?
Honestly, I think he probably would have highlighted it. He probably would have put it in front of my people to make it look like I'm cool with him. But would have been even more, to me, I would have liked to see if I would have went and handed that to Barack, what would have happened. So when I was with the Lakers and we won a championship, everybody got to go to the White House but me. Because they understood. Right. Last time we let this brother go to the White House, we're not going. So it was funny that I didn't get to go when the Lakers went, but at the same time, it was understood what was happening from my standpoint, that I know that we can't have Hodge in there. But I'm like you, brother, from the standpoint of looking at leadership. This is it. This is it. It's not any one person anymore, and I'm kind of glad of that. I'm kind of glad to the point that we're getting ready, and we're in the process. It's happening whether we want it to or not. Is that the young people have taken this thing to another level where their energy is pushing this to a point where leaders, and I say leaders, not any one, but it's going to take a leadership group that's able to foster and bear the burden of this, because no one person, whether it be Farrakhan, Jesse, Sharpton, you know what I'm saying? Those are the appointed leadership by media and that type of thing. To me, the church in general is probably the quickest way for us to organize. Women are already organized. Whether if y'all want to do it, y'all can do it by y'all. Y'all can do it by yourself. Really, if y'all want to stop this thing, y'all talking about leadership. Y'all the leaders. Y'all the leaders right here. Intellectual Radio Divas. Y'all the leaders from the standpoint that sisters haven't been given that leadership role. Y'all ain't been given it. So I'm respectful of it. Every leader came from y'all, whether it's a brother or a sister. You know what I'm saying? So from that end, I'm going to support y'all and what y'all do, and let's get at a shot. Let's get sister leadership a shot and see where that goes. And from the standpoint that we can support, and us being strong brothers, we ready to fight and do all that. But what are y'all ideas to take us? Because really, the brothers been trying it for the last 400 years. The movements have been organized by the sisters. We can put brothers in the figurehead position, Malcolm, Dr. King, Mega, but let's look at the root of it. Let's look at who was actually getting things done. Who was cooking the food? And that's the founding, because a brother got to eat to get this movement done. So what other stuff can y'all come up with as opposed to just in the background?
Got it. To piggyback on the letter when you went to the White House, do you have a picture and the shot? Can you bring that up for me? Do you have that for me while we talk about it? What was in the letter?
Well, a lot of people, and that was one of the reasons I wanted to do my book, is because people would say, man, he was telling Bush that. No, man. I asked the president to consider poor people's issues, people of color, people who are disenfranchised. Consider our issues the same way you consider foreign policy. That we in the community are hurting, but I'm not begging you for nothing. I wasn't begging like that. I was just saying, let's make it clear, and let somebody, at least my mindset was, let's put a line in the sand that I came here with a purpose. The purpose being to celebrate our championship, but also to make sure that I was speaking on behalf of those who would never get to come to the White House. And that was my position. I know, being from the projects and the Heights, I wouldn't have got a chance to go if I wasn't an athlete. I wouldn't have got it out. So I accepted the challenge of saying, let me speak for those who wouldn't get to ask the president to check us out, to consider us. And I think that's the biggest part, is just consideration. Consider where we're at and be realistic in terms of not just, yeah, we got some grants for you guys. Come on, what's the reality of it? The reality is that our human rights have been violated over and over, but don't nobody speak of human rights. We speak of civil rights. So we have a lot of work to do, but for me, it's fun. That it's fun to stand on the reality of what our history is as a people. So the letter was just my link in the chain to all of our ancestors who have spoken truth to power and done the best they can with what they had to make that happen.
Definitely. Did you find the picture in front of me? It's up. So the picture of you at the White House on the court. Take us back to that day. On the court, you have your dashiki on and you're shooting the ball, and Bush is standing there watching.
And it's funny because for me, when I look at the picture again, it's I had great fun. It was fun. It's fun to shoot the basketball, and that was no different. And when you look at everybody's face in the picture, everybody is smiling. So it wasn't any type of issue. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was just another day to get a chance to reflect on what we had accomplished. But BJ Armstrong has shot probably made 10 shots in a row from about 10 feet. And Phil told Bush, he was like, man, that's not our best shooter. He's one of the best, but he's not the best. And he said, come on, Hodge, show him something. And I had on my dashiki. I said, brother, I'm too clean. I'm too clean.
And it's all white.
I'm be too clean to be shooting this ball right now, PJ. No, Hodge, come on, I got you, man. All right. So I'm going to shot some. But it was cool. Bush, and I tell people, Bush was cool to me. He was cool. He was like, man, that's awesome garment. But I tell people he thought I was an African. Because when he looked at me, when I opened my mouth, he wasn't expecting me to speak perfect English. So he's like, "Oh yeah, man, I'm from the Heights. I'm not from Senegal." You know, you know what I'm saying? So it was a good time though.
Good. Randy, you had a question or comment or statement?
I mean, I just, I think one of the biggest problems is that, and no disrespect to the people who throw this, but when you can get 20,000 people to a house picnic, but can't get 1,000 people out for the cause. I mean, I just think that's a big problem. That just shows where the mindset of our people are. We want to be entertained, and we don't want to stand up for what's right, and we always, reactive instead of proactive. I mean, we knew we needed to register to vote 2 years ago. Obama lost the House and the Senate 2 years into his term, and we still haven't been able to get it back. So I mean, I just think it's things that we need to do, on the front lines to be prepared.
Yeah.
But now, it's here. Everything that we talked about, all those programs, as you saw yesterday, he cut that mortgage thing right on out the bat. He's talking about making people, take drug tests to be able to get, government assistance and all those type of things. And now, like Mr. Hodges said, it's going to force you to say, hey, he going to bring these jobs here, and he going to say, look, I'm not giving you this. You're going to have to go work for $10 an hour. And if you haven't prepared yourself to be able to make more than that, it's going to be a problem. But another question I want to ask Mr. Hodges is, Phil Jackson is known as a critical thinker, outside the box thinking. He actually brought you back, to be on the staff of the Lakers. What was his thoughts doing all this?
Well, one of the things that there's an article written in 1993 by Carol Slezak, who was a beat writer for the Bulls. And she was interviewing Phil at the time, and she asked Phil about me not being in the league, and he said he found it very odd that no team picked me up, but he had to take the company line at that point when he was with the Bulls, and that was that I was basically persona non grata, but he was able to bring me on with the Lakers because he knew he needed Tex Winter. And in order for the triangle to flourish, he needed Tex. Tex is he's like a father figure to me. So Tex told Phil, in order for me to come, you got to bring Craig. And I think that in itself gave me another opportunity. But Phil understands, Phil reads, he understands what's going on socially. But at the same time, Phil understands that he's going to make sure that he's taken care of. And self-preservation is first law of nature. We can talk to Zen master stuff all the time, but he has a great ego also.
But once you got to the Lakers, did you have a chance to sit down with a new generation of players?
Oh yeah, and a different mindset. When you look at Andrew Bynum, who was his father ran with Malcolm, so he had his whole thing was he didn't know anything about my jump shot. All he knew that I went to the White House and gave President Bush a letter, and that was dope. So the young folks have a total different mindset in as far as the acceptance of being black. That and that's what's so serious to me is that they're unapologetic. Like my team that I now have at Rich East, they do not want to stand up for the national anthem because Colin Kaepernick is doing what he's doing. And I'm saying, do you know why you're not? Or is it just reactionary as opposed to it being proactive? That this is something that was well thought about, what the pullbacks are going to be should you do that. So it's one of those things where this generation is ready for the fight. And not necessarily that fight being militaristic, but the fight of being mentally prepared for the battle that's getting ready to happen. And it's a spiritual battle more than it's physical.
Right.
So talking about you going back home
Mhm.
to Rich East
Mhm.
and coaching these young men.
Yes.
What is your goal to, because yes, it's basketball and you know, winning or losing
Right,
a
right.
game, but it's bigger than that.
Yeah, it's life skills. And I think the biggest thing is that we can, like we were talking last night, anybody can teach somebody to shoot a left hand or right hand layup. But can we get you to understand the importance of getting your core curriculum classes, getting a great test score, understanding what is the importance of being a student athlete, what is required of you to be a student athlete, what do I need to do to be prepared to go to college? Those are the things that are important to me, and that I know that they all want to go to the NBA, they all want to go to D1, but you won't get any of that if you're not doing what needs to be done in preparation. And I think, like Brother Knowledge was saying, is that we know what's needed, but oftentimes we wait to the last minute to try to get it done. And one of the things that I like to teach about is time management, the importance of utilizing your time in order to get the most out of it. That if you prepare yourself, like we had probably 5 or 6 student athletes that were ineligible at the beginning because they waited to the last minute to try to get it done. They got it done, but I still told them, man, you don't have to go through that stress of waiting to the last minute. And I think that's something that we're learning from.
Good. You're tuned in to Divas Den on IntellectualRadio.com. I am your host, Madeline Ward Freeman, the boss lady. And we have my co-host, Vicky Travis. And thank you, Mr.
The Diva.
The Diva.
The Diva.
And we have Craig Hodges,
Thank you.
retired NBA player, the author of Long Shot. You can purchase your book on Amazon,
Yes.
correct?
Yep.
And Haymarket.
Haymarket. And on Tuesday, we'll be at Park Forest Library from 5 to 7, having a book signing on the day that it's released. So come out and check us out.
And Mr. Knowledge, thank you for coming in and sitting in a den with us. We really appreciate having you back with us. Definitely. You got to come back home though, sooner or later.
Man, I appreciate it. Just thank you guys. I mean, you always show me love, brought me out to speak at your, annual youth day or things of that nature. Just, appreciate you guys. And thanks to Earl Winfrey for welcoming me back home. It's always good to be back home. I ain't been home in like 2 years.
That's right.
Time flies.
Yeah, man, I hear you, brother.
Once again, thank you for tuning in to Divas Den on IntellectualRadio.com. We will be back February the 3rd Saturday, and we want you to
Feed your brain
and get your mind right. Have a good one.